Hi, this is Stuart Talley. I'm the partner here responsible for the metal-on-metal hip litigation. And the reason I'm doing this video today is to provide some information about settlement of hip cases. Many people have been calling us, and usually when they call us, they want to know how cases settle, how a hip case will typically settle. And although it's difficult to provide specifics in any given case, there's some general guidelines that I think most people can be aware of that really apply in cases like this. And settlements in cases like this are very unique. And the reason I say that is because typically there are thousands of cases pending. In the Depew ASR litigation, there's 14,000 cases. In the Stryker Rejuvenate cases, there are about 6,000 cases pending. And so when you settle cases like this on a global basis, it's a lot different than just settling a single individual lawsuit. So when you have cases like this, typically what will happen is the defendants and the plaintiffs will sit around during settlement discussions and try to agree on what the average case should settle for. And once you have that number, then you can extrapolate and come up with a settlement fund, is typically how it works. In the Depew ASR litigation, I believe there was $2.4 billion put into a settlement fund. Then what happens is you have to figure out an easy and quick and verifiable way to apportion the settlement proceeds to people that have a case. And so typically what will be done is there will be a formula or a grid or some process created so that people with severe damages end up with more money than people that have limited damages. Or people that have problematic cases that may be difficult to win because of prior health conditions or something else, versus cases where somebody doesn't have those issues. So what you have typically is some kind of formula or grid. So you might start off with a certain amount of money that a plaintiff receives if they had a revision surgery, okay? Then you would maybe take a deduction of a certain percentage if they're a smoker, or a deduction if they have weight issues, or there might be a deduction if they're older patients. There are different deductions that may come into play. Some of them may be rational, based on what the defendants believe make a case a good case or a bad case. Some of them may not be. But typically, there is some kind of formula that's created to either bring somebody down from the base award or up, okay? And when we're talking about modifications that are up from a base award, typically that is for what we call extraordinary injuries. So if you had your hip replaced, 3 months later you're up and running, you have no residual permanent injuries, you would get the base award. But let's say you ended up with 3 dislocations after your revision, or you had an infection and then had to have 2 more surgeries, or you end up with nerve damage, so you have a limp or a drop foot for the rest of your life. Those are things that would push you up and allow you to get more than the base award. So that's typically how it works. Now, the most important thing to understand about any settlement in a case like this is that these settlements that are announced, you do not have to take the settlement if it's announced, okay? These settlements are not done deals. Every person who has a case against a hip manufacturer, that case is an individual case. That means that only the plaintiff can settle the case. So if there's a settlement fund, there's a grid, there's a way of apportioning money, at some point your lawyer is going to contact you and say, if you take this settlement, here's how much you're going to get. And at that point, you are free to reject the settlement. You do not have to take a settlement that's offered to you. And if you reject the settlement, then your lawyer will continue litigating your case and hopefully get a trial date in your case or do something to move your case forward so that eventually the defendants will pay more than what you might be awarded under some type of global settlement. So if you have a metal-on-metal hip or any other kind of recalled hip or problem hip, feel free to give us a call. Whether your case is settled or not, we can provide you some information on how settlements work. We can also tell you at the end of the case whether we believe a settlement is adequate or not for you. You can reach us at the phone number on the screen, or you can visit our website and fill out one of our online forms, and a lawyer will contact you right away. We do everything free of charge. It's all on contingency, so you can call for any kind of free evaluation or free question.